Hi friends, David here from Above AVL and Learn Stage Lighting, and in this video, we're going to take a look at the ColorKey Mover Beam 100. We're going to pull it out of the box, we're going to take a look at what it can do, and most importantly, tell you what we think about it. Let's dive in. All right, so the ColorKey Mover Beam 100 is one of their bigger movers at the time of this recording. Really good. This series of movers is really good for a lot of ranges, kind of like mid-size music venues, even youth rooms or churches. Some of these movers are pretty quiet, some of them a little more fan noise. So we want to dive in, take a look at the Mover Beam 100, see what we like about it, see what we don't like about it, and give you our honest opinion. So we're just unboxing this here. So it comes in a typical box. I appreciate the no printed manual, just kicking you to the online version because I mean, I understand some people like printed manuals, but at the same time, if you ever work with a manufacturer and then you got to update stuff, um, just easier when it's all digital. Then you don't have out of date stuff out there. So, nice thing about ColorKey fixtures, everything does have a serial number. They're really serious about bringing a quality product. In the box, we have a typical for these. It's a kind of screw-on Omega bracket, so it doesn't have a quick release like a pro grade one. But that's generally not necessary at this level of fixture. Again, great for music venues, DJs, church spaces where some fan noise can be tolerated. Comes with an IEC power cord, which we won't use just because we use our own. So this one's really small, like just as a size comparison. It is more, I thought it was going to be because it's a 100-watt LED, though wattage never is a direct indicator of brightness. That's always a key here. I thought it was honestly going to be more in line with the Mover Spot 100, which it, as you can see, it's a decent bit smaller. It's actually much closer to over there the Mover Wash Hex 12 in size. Okay, so but the aperture is actually wider, the where the beam comes out, than the Mover Spot 150. But I can tell already it's probably going to be a really good pair for this Mover Spot 150 in terms of brightness. So let's go ahead, grab our power cord, which is always, we've got a collection of every type of power cord down here. Get this guy powered up, get it some DMX, and let's see what we think about it. Pretty typical for a lower range. It's got 3-pin DMX input and output, a power in on the IEC, no power through. Again, pretty typical for this size and quality level of fixture. The first thing I'm noticing as it's homing, honestly, is that it's really quiet so far. It's really, really quiet, and it looks like the fans, where the fans are, it's really not being restricted at all, which is really nice. That tends to keep them a lot quieter when it's just a nice open vent. So set to DMX address 1. I'm just going to check the mode real quick. And as things go, it's not quite homing right. Hopefully we don't have a unit out of the box that's effective, but ColorKey's got a 2-year warranty, really good, really standard, better than other brands of fixtures of this size by far. So if there is an issue, we'll get it back to ColorKey and it won't be a problem. But let's go ahead and bring it up to full here for when it does kick in. Then we'll just move it around, pan and tilt a little bit. Yeah, it looks like it's a bit happier this time. So there's still something going on with the pan on this one, but that's okay. We'll get that back to ColorKey and get that taken care of. But still allowing me to work with it. So you can see here, this is a pretty cool little beam fixture, just in the sense that, it's small, as you can see from our side view over here, but, it really has a pretty nice little beam to it. I mean, it's a narrow aperture. It's going to be color wheel, not color mixing. That's very typical for a beam. But you can see, as our, standard here in the studio is our studio front lighting, which is around 40, 50-foot candles, and our Volux Spectra 300, which is super wide, but it's a 300-watt unit zoomed all the way out with a prism. This guy keeps up pretty good with that size fixture. So definitely with the ColorKey Mover Spot, it's going to do a great job as well. And so we've got some nice colors here. We've got a little, looks like a little color temperature blue filter. or no, I believe that's a rainbow filter for the frost or for the prism. Yeah, little rainbow filter that comes in. So let's go ahead and look at the Gobos. There's some nice little Gobos here. I admit they don't look as good with the rainbow in. So let's go ahead, pop that out of there. But we've got a decent selection of Gobos. Sure, in the haze, it kind of just all looks the same, which is typical for a beam fixture. But there's a nice prism in there. And once you pop in that prism, you can see, okay, it dilutes it a little. Definitely, this is a bright 300-watt LED fixture, the Volk Spectra 300. So it's not going to keep up with that. But with ColorKey's their little mover wash hex and their mover spot, this is a really great size that's going to honestly fit really nicely together. See, the prism rotates, which is really nice. So clockwise and counterclockwise. In the DMX profile, there's not a stop in the middle of the clockwise and counterclockwise, which is not my favorite. There is some speed control to it. It's not massive, but you can see me going through a slower and a faster there. As we look to the different Gobos, when they're in the prism, as you can see, they really do start to shine. Okay, and then of course, if we add on the rainbow effect, that's when we're really going to see that thing pop. You can see it here, even as the haze is kind of dissipating in the room. It really has a nice pop to it with that color. To show you the prism and how it works, we'll pop it back here onto our LED wall. And you can see that's what the prism looks like with a Gobo in it. It's got a bunch of facets. We can put on the screen how many that is. And it looks really nice. Breaks up the beam, could use to put some texture on an object. But mostly, as noted, like we had it before. Here, we'll see how fast it moves. As noted before, oops. It just works really nice, looks awesome when you point it into a camera like that, but just looks really nice through the air, gives you a really nice breakup on this beam fixture. So the question is, the ColorKey Mover B100, who is it good for? What is it good for? What's it do well? Well, you can't argue with the fact that with a prism, with a color, it still punches and looks really nice for kind of a small to maybe a mid-sized venue. It's a pretty thin beam of light, which is what you're going to get at this price point, and kind of what you want, because for the amount of power in the LED, that gives you the maximum brightness. If we go ahead and pull everything out and just go nice and open, we get a really nice beam. As you can see here, we'll pop it into the camera. It looks like it's spreading, but that's the wide angle of the camera. You can see that better here. Really pretty nice beam. The center is just a little bit less bright than the outside, which is pretty typical for an LED beam fixture. But all in all, it is a really nice looking beam fixture. It's got a nice set of features for kind of an entry-level beam. If I were looking for more features, I would say it doesn't appear that I can do a split color and be between two different colors. It does not appear that I can be in between two colors and do a split, so that would be nice. But other than that, it's got the basic features that you want for a cool beam piercing through the air, the kind of pencil beam look. It's got a nice prism in it to give you that really spread look, right? Where you go, okay, sometimes you want to be this when you pull in your beams, other times you want to be that. And it looks really nice when it spreads that out, gives you a really big Gobo-y, just fun, bright prism. So I think it looks really nice. In terms of other features, let's go ahead and look really quick at dimming. So I'm going to go ahead and just put an effect on dimming really quick to watch it go up and down. And so, as beam fixtures go, like when LEDs came to beam fixtures, and in smaller beam fixtures these days, you can get an LED. It dims much better than any old school discharge lamp beam that were hot and you got to deal with lamps and, not pointing it at close objects. This dims way better than that. Is it a high-end LED fixture that dims perfectly to zero? No, it's not. But as you can see, it does do a pretty good job at dimming. Let's go ahead and look at movement really quick. So we'll go ahead, just get this guy moving through about 50% of its range in a circle. So as you can see, it's able to move quite quickly, switch directions pretty quickly. It's not incredibly fast, but it does a good job. At a slower movement, as you can see, I'm in the 13 channel mode, which has 16-bit pan and tilt. And you can see that it moves really nice right here. Nice and smooth, no jittering or anything funky like that. And so, yeah, in terms of a fixture, I'd say if you're doing a, small size club, a small size music venue, even honestly, the fan noise is not bad on these for like a church kids space or youth room or just any space where the music's louder. The fan noise level is really respectable on this guy. It really is. If I take it to 0, I don't believe they're variable speed. I think they're constant. So, if they're a good way behind your band on stage in a church that, was even a 300 or 400 person room, these guys would cut through pretty good, and they hit a killer price point. Again, the couple caveats that I don't love is I can't seem to figure out a way to do a split color wheel on them. There aren't really handles on the side, like it's kind of indented here, but it's not actually a handle, so you got to be careful when handling it. But again, they're very small, very lightweight, and probably a lot of our customers that go with these will be putting them in a permanent fashion. However, like most ColorKey fixtures, one thing that I love is that, oh, and I apologize, there is a variable speed fan in this. So that now kind of passes my test for church use, where if you want to use these in a church as a beam, I would say up to like a 500 seat ish room. It depends on the room. These would work because when you turn them off, when the beam's off, they do go quiet. So that kind of fits my church test where, you could have the beam on during music portions of your service, but then turn it off during preaching. And it's not going to be distracting. It's not going to be loud because it really goes much, much quieter. That main fan kicks off. Okay. Great little fixture. We like it a lot. We've been really happy with our ColorKey stuff. For those that set up and tear down, they also have a little bundle with a carry bag, I believe, on these guys that has foam in it. So it's really nice that they offer case options for all their fixtures, even if they're smaller. And you can check them out at aboveavl.com. Of course, your helpful place to find a lighting, add some to your cart, request a quote from us, ask us any questions you need. And while you're there, if you happen to use gaff tape, check out grade A gaff tape. Even if you don't go through a lot of gaff, our 3-packs or our half cases are really, really well priced, and it's a nice tape that does a great job. So if you haven't tried out our grade A in black or white or any of the colors, check it out. We strive to hit a really great price, but also a good quality that is going to serve you well. And if you are comparing it to other gaffs out there online, be aware that it's a full 55-yard roll. A lot of the other rolls around the same price are a 30-yard. So twice the tape, same cost. We'd love to help you guys with that, with your lighting needs, and everything else at Above AVL. Not only that, we now have audio, so check it all out at aboveavl.com. Be sure to subscribe here, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks.